Fluid Mechanics, Lecture 4. So in this lecture we will discuss pressure variation in accelerated fluid. So earlier we have discussed pressure variation in static fluid where the container was at rest and the fluid was at rest. Now the container in which the fluid is placed, it will be accelerating along with the fluid. So let us take a container which is accelerating with an acceleration A. So this is a container, a fluid in the container, and this whole container along with the fluid is accelerating with acceleration A. Now let us take two levels in this fluid. So we want to find out the pressure difference. So this is level 1 and this is level 2. So let us assume this difference in height between these two levels to be h. And now we'll take some part of the fluid. So let us take some part of the fluid contained in an imaginary cylinder. So this is the fluid which we are observing. So area of cross section A, here area of cross section is A. Now we can observe this fluid from the container. If you observe this fluid from the frame of container, then along with the container the fluid is also accelerating. So you will see the fluid at rest from the reference frame of container. And if you observe this from the ground, that is inertial frame, the container frame will be non-inertial. So this frame is inertial frame. So I am observing the fluid from the ground frame. So this frame is inertial frame of reference. So in this frame Newton's laws are valid. Even if you consider this frame of reference, here you have to take some corrective force, that is pseudo force, and you can apply Newton's laws. So let us solve this problem from ground frame, inertial frame. Okay, yes. So now suppose if I take this container outside, so I am taking this fluid outside the container. So now pressure at this point. So here the pressure is P1, here pressure is P2. So now this pressure P1 will apply a force on this fluid. We are observing this fluid. So this will apply a force in the downward direction. So force due to the pressure at this point is P1A in the downward direction. Then similarly at this level this pressure P2 will be applying a force on this fluid in the upward direction. So here this force is P2A. And weight of the fluid is acting downwards. So weight of the fluid is acting downwards. Now we are observing this fluid from ground frame. So container is accelerating and the fluid inside the container is also accelerating with acceleration A. So from the ground frame we will see this acceleration and that is equal to A. So now from this frame there must be a net force on this fluid. So net force must be in the upward direction because it is accelerating with acceleration A in the upward direction. So net force P2A minus P1A is acting downwards and weight of the fluid is also acting downwards. So mg. So this is the net force on this fluid from this ground frame. So that must be equal to mass of the fluid under observation into acceleration. So we have P2 minus P1 into A, that is equal to mg plus ma. So now we can write this mass. So mass can be written as density into volume. So volume is, this is H. So we have considered the difference in levels as h. So volume will be area of cross section into height h into g plus a. So here we have P2 minus P1 into a. So now P2 minus P1 is rho h into g plus a. Earlier non-accelerating fluid we had rho h g. Now there is an additional term a. So this is the case when it is accelerating in the upward direction. So it is showing that the pressure at point P and the difference in pressure at point 1 is rho g plus a into h. Rho g plus a into h. Then similarly, if this container is accelerating in the downward direction, if it is accelerating in the downward direction, so here I will write acceleration in upward direction. So if it is accelerating in the downward direction, then the downward force must be greater than the upward force. So simply we can write the equation for downward acceleration. So forces will be same, but acceleration is downwards. So this is P1A, this is P2A, and here we have mg. Now since the acceleration is downwards, so downward force must be greater than upward force. So downward force is P1A plus mg, and P2A is acting upwards, so minus P2A is equal to m into A. So now P1 minus P2 into A is equal to m A minus mg. Ma minus mg. So again we will replace mass with density and volume. So A, mass can be written as density into volume. So this will be A minus G. So difference in pressure P1 minus P2 is rho H into A minus G, or rho A minus G into H. Okay, so that is nothing but the effective acceleration. So when it is accelerating in the upward direction, so as seen from this frame, so the effective acceleration will be G plus A, and when it is accelerating in the downward direction, the effective acceleration will be A minus G. Fine, so here we can find out the pressure difference like this. When it is accelerating downwards, so A minus G, when it is accelerating upwards, it is A plus G. So this is A is downwards. Fine. So now next we will see the acceleration along horizontal direction. We can solve this problem from non-inertial frame also. So we will consider one pseudo force, then the net acceleration from this non-inertial frame will be 0. So equated to 0, it's nothing but we will add this pseudo force here, and that is equated to 0, because the acceleration with respect to the frame is 0, because fluid is at rest with respect to frame. Now let us take a container which is accelerating in horizontal direction. So this is a container. So let us say it is accelerating in the horizontal direction and some fluid is placed in this container. Now when this container accelerates in the horizontal direction, then this fluid, so this part of the fluid will rise above. So once it accelerates, the free surface of the fluid should take some shape like this, because of inertia, fluid is at rest, container started accelerating, then so as seen from this non-inertial frame, the particles of the fluid will be thrown opposite to the direction of acceleration. So free surface of the liquid will take this shape. So let us find out the pressure difference along horizontal direction. So let us take again some part of the fluid contained in this imaginary cylinder. So density of the fluid is rho. So here area of cross section A, and length of this imaginary cylinder is L. Let us say this part, this end is at height h2 and this end is at a height of h1. Now since this fluid is accelerating in this direction, there must be some net force in this direction. So let us assume the pressure at this point is P2 and the pressure at this point as P1. So then the net force acting on this along horizontal direction. So this is L. This total fluid is accelerating in forward direction. Again, I am solving the problem from inertial frame, from the ground frame. So if you observe from the ground, this fluid is accelerating in this direction. So here pressure P2, this pressure will apply a force in this direction, so in the horizontal direction. So that is equal to, this force is equal to P2 into A. Then the pressure at this point will be acting on this fluid or this cross-sectional area in this direction. So that force will be equal to P1A. And let us assume the mass of the fluid in this imaginary cylinder to be m. Now these are the only forces acting on this fluid or the fluid which we have considered in this imaginary cylinder. So net force will be P2A in the direction of acceleration. I am taking this force positive. This force must be greater than this force. So P2A minus P1A must be equal to mass into acceleration, so m into A. So P2A minus P1A is equal to, mass can be written as density into volume. So volume of this imaginary cylinder will be area of cross section into length. So density, area of cross section into length, this is mass, into acceleration. So now we will get P2 minus P1 as rho L into A. Rho AL, rho GH, rho AL. So difference in pressure between these 2 points along horizontal direction is rho AL. A is the acceleration. So now this is analogous with vertical. So vertical we have considered, or we got rho GH. So acceleration along vertical direction was G and the difference in levels was H. Now here acceleration along horizontal direction is A and the difference in levels along the horizontal line is M. So difference in pressure between these 2 points is rho AL. Now we have to find out the shape of this free surface of the liquid. Now see here, at this point the pressure is due to this height of fluid column. For time being, just neglect atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure will add to this point. Here also atmospheric pressure is added and it will cancel out when you take the difference. So let us forget about atmospheric pressure for some time. So then here the pressure is due to, or let us take atmospheric pressure, there is no problem. So pressure P2 due to vertical column of the fluid must be P2 must be P naught plus rho g H2 is the vertical height. Then here this height is H1. So let us consider this height. Yes, we have already considered. This height is H1. So P1 pressure 1 is equal to P naught plus rho g H1. So P2 minus P1 we got in terms of horizontal acceleration. Now here we will get P1 minus P2 or P2 minus P1 in terms of vertical acceleration due to gravity. So that is P2 here. P2 minus P1 is rho g H2 minus H1. Now this is the difference in pressure between these 2 points. This is also the difference in pressure between these 2 points. Here we have considered horizontal acceleration. Here we have considered vertical acceleration. To find out the shape of the free surface of the liquid, so we'll equate these 2 pressures. So if we equate these 2 pressure, then rho g H2 minus H1 is equal to rho AL. Then H2 minus H1 upon L is A by G. So that is the relation between the vertical height and horizontal height. Now let us see here. So here let us say this is point A, this is point B, and this is C. So this is making an angle theta. So let us take it here. So this length is L. Now this height is H2, this height is H1. So this height will be H2 minus H1. So this is A, this is B, this is C. And this height is H2 minus H1. And this is angle theta. So this is the angle made by the free surface of the liquid with this horizontal line theta. So from this triangle you will get tan theta is equal to H2 minus H1 by L. So this is a right angle triangle. Tan theta is opposite side by adjacent side. So that is H2 minus H1 by L. So that is equal to A by G. So we got here tan theta is equal to A by G. So this is tan theta. So it is a straight line inclined at angle theta with horizontal. So this is the free surface of the liquid. Okay, yes. Now similarly, we can have rotating fluid, that is also an accelerated fluid, because there will be centripetal acceleration. So this is theta, angle made by the free surface of the liquid. So let us write here difference in pressure along horizontal level is rho AL along the direction of x. So I will remove this. So if you see this horizontal accelerated fluid or the fluid which is accelerated in the horizontal direction, the fluid particles, if this accelerating along this direction, the free surface of the liquid will make some angle theta with the horizontal, and actually all the fluid particles will align along this direction. So they will align along this direction. So if you take any point here, so from the reference frame of this container, So there is one acceleration along this direction, that is g, and due to non-inertial frame, this is a non-inertial frame, so pseudo force will be opposite to the acceleration of the frame. So acceleration will be along this direction. So that is a corrective force which we will be considering from the non-inertial frame. So the force or the acceleration on this liquid, on this fluid particle will be along this direction. And that effective acceleration, A effective, is given by root of A square plus G square. This is the effective acceleration. Okay. Now these lines, so this is a line which is parallel to the free surface, will have same pressure. This is an isobar. So this is an equal pressure line. So pressure at this point will be equal to pressure at this point. Pressure at this point. If you are considering the free surface, here atmospheric pressure, here also atmospheric pressure, here also atmospheric pressure. So this line will have same pressure. So as you go parallel to this line, the pressure will go on increasing. If I go along this line, so along this line pressure will increase. So that is due to acceleration A. So similarly, let us take a tube filled with fluid. So let us say this is a tube, and this part is open to atmosphere, and let us rotate this tube about this axis with angular velocity omega. Let us assume the length of the tube to be L. Okay, so now we have to find out the pressure difference. Now this is also an accelerated fluid, it is rotating, so there will be centripetal acceleration. So this we are rotating with a constant angular velocity. So let us assume density of the fluid to be rho. Now acceleration when it rotates, so this tube is rotating, along with the tube fluid is also rotating. So if this fluid is rotating, then there must be an extra force from this direction, so that there will be a centripetal force towards the center. Since it is a rotating frame, there must be a force towards center, so that it will be in rotatory motion. Fine. So now let us assume some part of the fluid in a small element at a distance of x. So this distance is x, and the width of this element is dx. So this is the width. Fine. So now let us assume pressure from this side must be greater than pressure from this side. So pressure here, let us assume pressure at this point to be P, then pressure here P plus dP, some pressure more. So then you will have net force on this mass of the fluid, and which will provide the centripetal force. So force here, so if you take this small element here, so its mass is dm, from this side P plus dP is the pressure into area of cross section, whatever is the area of this tube. And from this side there is a pressure P into area. So net force is along this direction, and this dm mass is given by dm is equal to density of the fluid multiplied by volume of the fluid contained in this small element. So volume will be area of cross section into dx width. So A dx. Now since this small element is rotating, so there must be a centripetal force, and the centripetal force is provided by the difference in pressure at these 2 points. So this is a force, so P plus dP into A minus this force along this direction, so net force towards the center. This is the net force towards the center. So this net force towards the center must be equal to mass into acceleration, so that is dm rho a dx, dm into centripetal acceleration. So centripetal acceleration is omega square x. We have considered from the center or from the axis of rotation till this small element, the distance to be x. So this small element will be rotating in a radius of x. So dm into omega square x. So here p into a will cancel out. So we'll have dp into a, that is equal to rho a omega square x dx. A will cancel. So final equation what we get rho omega square x dx. Now we have to integrate. So let us say you want the difference in pressure where at a point x to this point. So here we will differentiate from 0 to x, or you can take radius r till this point. Let us say till this point. So this distance is r. So we want the pressure difference from this axis till a distance of r. You can take till L also, there is no problem. So till r is a variable. So till r. So that will be equal to dp, so that is delta p, difference in pressure. So let us say pressure at this point is P1 and here pressure is P2. So P1 at 0 it is P1, at R it is P2. So this will be P2 minus P1 is equal to rho omega square x square by 2, 0 to R. So now P2 minus P1 is rho omega square R square by 2. Rho omega square R square by 2. So this is the difference in pressure between these 2 points. Now suppose if you want the difference in pressure from this axis of rotation till the end of the tube, so that will be nothing but delta P will be rho omega square, R is replaced by L, so L square by 2. That will be delta P. Okay. Yes, so this is the difference in pressure in this tube, which is rotating with constant angular velocity omega. So now next, we will take a fluid which is rotating in a container. So let us take a container. So let us take some bigger container. So you have fluid. This is a fluid. Now about this axis, the container is rotated. So this container is rotating. Along with the container, this fluid is also rotating. Now we have to find out the shape of the free surface of the liquid. What is the shape of free surface of the liquid, and the pressure difference or the variation of pressure along this radial line when you go along this direction from the axis of rotation to the end of this container. So how the pressure will vary, so we have to find out. So now when it rotates, then the shape may change. So let us find out what is the shape. So this may be the shape because of centrifugal action. When you observe from this rotating frame, so a corrective force or a pseudo force which you take, that is centrifugal force. So since due to centrifugal action, the fluid particles will be thrown away from the axis of rotation. So now if I take any particle on this free surface, if I take some particle on this free surface, so let us say mass of this particle is m. So its mass is m. And if I take a tangent to this curve, this is a tangent, and let us say this tangent is making an angle theta. Now the forces on this particle, on this fluid particle, will be, one force will be a normal reaction from lower part of the fluid. Lower part of the fluid will be exerting a force on this particle. Similarly, there is another force along this direction, that is mg, weight of the fluid acting, and from here it is accelerating in this direction, so there will be an acceleration along this direction. So this is one force I am observing from inertial frame. If you are in this frame, then you will observe a pseudo force, that is centrifugal force in this direction. But we are solving the problem in inertial frame. So acceleration of this particle will be towards the center, that is centripetal acceleration. So we have considered mass of this particle as m. Okay, I will write it m here. Then if I take vertical line, so this will be theta. This is horizontal line, this is vertical line. This is 90 degrees. And this tangent is making angle theta. So this tangent and this normal, they are perpendicular. So this is theta, this is 90 minus theta, and this is theta. Now this particle is in equilibrium under different forces. So I will take the particle here. This is perpendicular direction. This is a tangent which is making an angle theta. And this is normal direction, n. So theta. mg is acting here. Now this particle is rotating. So acceleration will be along x direction. So along this direction there is an acceleration. So mass of the particle is m. Okay. So along y direction particle is at rest and it is rotating in this plane. So there will be a centripetal acceleration along this direction. So if you resolve the forces, n cos theta in the upward direction, and along this direction we have n sin theta. Now n sin theta is providing centripetal force, so n sin theta is mass into acceleration, and n cos theta along this direction particle is at rest, so n cos theta is equal to mg. So if you divide these two equations, we will get tan theta, and that is equal to a by g. So now acceleration of this particle is due to rotation, that is centripetal acceleration. So tan theta will be equal to, let us say this particle is at a distance of x, then this acceleration will be omega square x by g. Okay. Now if you observe from this frame, then we will take one centrifugal force along this direction, mass into centripetal acceleration. So along opposite to the direction of acceleration, then this n sin theta will be balanced by m omega square x. So whatever is the frame, there is no problem, you will get the same results. That is why when you are in non-inertial frame, you are taking a corrective force. So now this is tan theta. So tan theta is nothing but, see here, this is the free surface of the liquid and this is a tangent drawn to the free surface. So it is making an angle theta. So this is nothing but slope of this, or slope at this point to this curve. So slope can be written as dy by dx. Y is, now I am taking here this as origin, you can take this as origin also, then you have to see this distance. So I am taking this point, the lowest point of the free surface, as the origin. So from here, this is dy and this is dx. Okay. So from this point, y is above. So then dy by dx will be equal to tan theta. So that is omega square x by g. So now we can find out the relation between y and x, so that we will come to know what is the shape of this free surface of the liquid. So that is dy by dx, or dy is omega square x by g into dx. So integrating dy, integration of omega square by g x dx. Now here, if I take this as origin, so here x is 0, y is 0. So y 0, x 0. Here it is x, here it is y. So we have y equals to omega square by g, and this is x square by 2. So y is equal to omega square x square by 2g. So this is the relation between y and x. So free surface of the liquid must be a parabola, because this is of the form y is equal to kx square. Y is kx square. So omega and 2 and g are constants. So this must be a parabola. So free surface of the liquid will take a shape of parabola. Now here, if you want to find out the pressure from the free surface to some depth y. So let us say you have a container. So just remove this. We have a container. So this is a container. Now we have considered this as origin, and let us say this point. So I want to find out the pressure at this point, which is at a depth of y from the free surface. So this will be x, or at some radial distance. Then pressure here it is atmospheric pressure, and at this point the pressure will be pressure at point P. At point P, it will be equal to P naught plus rho g y. So P is equal to, pressure at this point will be equal to P naught plus rho g y. So y as a function of radial distance x. So this is a radial distance. Or you can replace that x with r. So there is no problem. So I can replace, here you can put x is equal to r. So there is no problem. So rho g into y. So y is omega square. So let us replace x with r, omega square r square by 2g. So this will be equal to P naught plus rho omega square r square by 2. So this is also the equation which we have found out for a rotating tube filled with a fluid. So tube was rotated, and the difference in pressure between 2 points was P2 equals to P1 plus rho omega square r square by 2, where r is the radial distance. Okay, so now if you observe this free surface, so this is a free surface, then if you consider any paraboloid, so on this free surface pressure is same everywhere. Then if you take a parallel line like this, so here also pressure will be same. That means if here pressure is P1, on this line everywhere pressure will be P1. If you take this line, and if pressure at this point is P2, then everywhere pressure will be P2. Everywhere the pressure will be P2. So similarly here, if here pressure is P3, on this line everywhere pressure will be P3. So that means these lines are isobars. So a line connected with the points which are having same pressure. Okay, so this is rotating fluid. So let us take some illustrative problems to understand this. So pressure variation along the radial line rho omega square r square by 2. So delta P. Okay, so this was the equation which we have derived earlier, and also for free surface of the liquid, a liquid rotating in a container, the same equation we got, that is the difference in pressure. So now we have an example. Level is same at rest, okay. Delta H when acceleration is given, okay. So we have a U2 manometer. So this is a U2 manometer. Area of cross section on both the sides of the tube is same. Area of cross section here, it is same. So this area of cross section also A. Now this U2 is filled with a fluid. And the base length of this U2 is L. Okay, yes. So level is same at rest. Now, yes. So now you have same level. So level is given now. Okay. So just we have to find out the height difference. So same level of fluid. So let us say the density of the fluid is rho. Now this is given an acceleration A. This tube is given an acceleration A. Then definitely there will be a difference in heights of the fluid column in both the limbs. So we have to find out the difference in height of the fluid column. So let us take one more diagram. So this is at rest. Once it accelerates, then the levels of the fluid column in both arms will be different. So when it is accelerating with acceleration A, this is length L, then height of the fluid column. So here we have height, and this height will be raised. So then difference in height, let us say H. So we have to find out this H when this U2 is given an acceleration A. So let us find out. So it is very simple. So now let us take this as point A and let us take this point B. So a fluid which is horizontally accelerated, the pressure difference will depend on the length or the horizontal distance between the points. So let us say pressure at this point is PA. So PA minus pressure at point B. So they are separated by a horizontal distance of L. So it should be equal to rho AL. PA minus PB should be rho AL. Now we have to find out in terms of difference in height H. At point A, the pressure due to vertical column of the fluid is P naught plus rho G, P naught plus some height. So let us say this height as HA, and let us say this height as HB. So PA is equal to P naught plus rho G HA. Then pressure at B due to this column of the fluid. So that should be equal to P naught plus rho G HB. Now the difference in pressure. PA minus PB, we got it earlier. And also now we can find out the difference in pressure here. So PA minus PB must be P naught, P naught will cancel out. So here we will have rho G HA minus HB. That should be equal to rho AL, rho AL. Okay, yes. So we want the difference in height, that is H. So that difference in height H will be equal to rho AL by rho G. So that is nothing but AL by G. So this is difference in height, HA minus HB. Fine. Okay. So now next. So next is base length is filled with same volume of two liquids of 2 rho and rho moving with the height difference becomes 0, find H. Okay. Yes. So now we have a U2, and in this U2 two different types of liquids are filled of equal volume. So here we have two different types of liquids of equal volume to same height. So that is, one liquid will take some other color. So this is one liquid. Fine. So just I will remove this. Two different liquids. So density of one liquid is 2 rho and density of another liquid is rho. One fluid is 2 rho and another fluid is rho. Equal volumes of this both the fluids is filled in this U2 manometer. Okay. So base length they have given as L. Area of cross section both the sides of the limbs is same. Now when this is accelerated, so here we have 2 rho density. Why? Because when it is accelerated along this direction with acceleration A, the height difference, the difference in height of the fluid in this both the limbs should be 0. That means when this U-tube accelerates, the levels should be same. Okay. So then what should be volumes moving with acceleration? If height difference becomes 0, find H. Okay. So that means when it accelerates, the height difference between the fluids in both the limbs should become 0. So what should be the height of the fluid column? So you have to find out H. So we'll find out H. There is no problem. So for an accelerating fluid, difference in pressure is rho AL. So now let us take. Now definitely when it accelerates in this direction, from this side there must be more force. Both has to stand to a same height. It means this fluid should be of more density and this should be of smaller density. So equal volumes. So this should be the center. This point should be the center. Okay. So now I will take this point as A. This point as B and this point as C. So difference in pressure for same type of fluid is rho AL. So I cannot apply this from A to C because here I have a fluid of density 2 rho and here I have a fluid of density rho. So I cannot apply that formula from here to here. So I can apply from here to here. Okay. So PB and C. So pressure at B minus pressure at C, same liquid. So that must be equal to rho, density of the fluid is rho, into A, acceleration is A, and the distance between these 2 points along the horizontal direction is L by 2. So this is pressure difference between these 2 points. Similarly, I can find out pressure difference between these 2 points because here same type of fluid is there. PA must be, the pressure at this point must be greater than pressure at this point. So that is PA minus PB. must be equal to. So density of this fluid is 2 rho. So 2 rho into acceleration A, length or the distance between these 2 points is L by 2. So PA minus PB is equal to rho AL. 2 cancel, rho AL. Now we want difference, or we want H. So we want first of all the difference between the pressure at A and C, so that we can find out the heights. So that is, suppose if I add these two equations, so I'll get PA minus PC. Yes, we'll add these two equations. So PA minus PC, PB will cancel. So that is equal to rho AL by 2 plus rho AL, that is equal to 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 rho AL. That is the difference between the pressure between point A and C. A and C. Now here A, if I take vertical height, here the pressure is applied by atmosphere and the H height of 2 rho density liquid, and here H height of rho density liquid, because the problem is there should be no height difference between these two levels. So this is also height H, this is also height H, and we have to find out height H. So PA is P naught plus density 2 rho into G into H. Then PC, pressure at point C, is due to this fluid and atmosphere. So P naught plus rho G H. Difference in pressure, PA minus PC. P naught will cancel. Here we have 2 rho GH minus rho GH. So that comes out to be rho GH. And this should be equal to, this is also PA minus PC. So 3 by 2 rho AL. So 3 by 2 rho AL. So H is equal to 3 by 2 AL by G. AL divided by G. So this is the height of the fluid, which has, it will be in this manometer. Okay. So that is the condition of the problem. Fine. So we got H. Now we'll take one more problem. So one more problem.